Welcome back to episode 2 of First Down Focus. Today we've got a very special guest. My friend Gary here is taking Owen's spot today. We are going to dive into some playoff football, kind of like a lot like last week, I think. We're going to do a bit of recap from last week. There's some crazy shit that did happen, some shocking stuff, I'd probably say. And then we'll also dive into who we've got for next week too. But I think we have to start with kind of the elephant in the room. Green Bay versus Dallas, Gary. Who is Dak Prescott, man? Okay. Who is this guy?
I'll keep it real. I know a lot of people love him. He's bad. He's terrible.
Trash?
Terrible.
Yeah.
He needs to go. He folds under pressure every time they're in a big game. What does he do? Choke. He's got to go. Got to go.
I'd agree. I mean, look, in all fairness, the guy did put up 403 yards, right? But at the same time, that's in garbage time minutes of they're getting blown out by 20-something by the fourth quarter, right? The 2 interception, one of which was pick 6, and 68% completion rate. But one thing that I did love about that game was Jordan Love and Aaron Jones. Those boys did ball. I thought that was, I thought that game was going to be a blowout. That was my prediction. Maybe you thought that too.
I knew Dak would sell.
You just know him. I just know
boys. I would not bet on him winning anything in the playoffs. Just a regular season performer. That's it.
It was fraudulent behavior. It was. And honestly, I don't know what Green Bay is going to do about it. I've thought about kind of the coaching too with Mike McCarthy. He's a good coach. He had a good run with Green Bay too prior to being with the Cowboys. But just losing by 32 points by the fourth quarter in the first round as a team who had, as you mentioned, really good regular season, just kind of awful, honestly.
He's gotta go too.
You think so?
Gotta go too.
So you think not a full rebuild, but move on from Dak and McCarthy type of thing, just because of the playoff performances.
Sure. Well, that's where it matters, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Regular season doesn't mean anything when you're trying to win a championship. So
agreed.
Gotta get rid of them both.
Agreed. And honestly, it'll be interesting to see if they do anything off season, make any moves too.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for Mike Parsons because I thought that guy had a really good season too. Great defensive player too. But there's no sacks for the defense this game, which, again, credits to the O-line for Green Bay. Honestly, their coach, Matt LaFleur, did a great job, too, with the play calling and stuff like that. And you know what? Their defense limited Dak early. Maybe for you, that's easy to say. It's not hard to limit this guy in the playoffs.
Exactly.
But you're definitely not wrong with he chokes in the playoffs. The Cowboys just chokes. A lot of people have been saying they're the Leafs of the NFL. Sorry.
Yeah.
I
could see that.
They got the good regular season team, but then as soon as they move into the playoffs, these guys are nowhere to be found. Couldn't tell you. It'll be interesting to see what they do next year. Honestly, I think it makes everyone happy. It makes me happy as a fan that Cowboys aren't moving forward. Good on Green Bay.
I love it.
Yeah, I think
America's team. Right? I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't say so. I would never say that they're America's team. And actually, too, Green Bay, first 7th seed team to make it to the second round.
That's crazy.
Which is I'm shocked that that's actually the first time there's been one of those upsets.
Well, when you play Dak,
it's easy. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. It's the freest money of all time, and we're all blindsided by it. We're all idiots. Whatever. Moving on. Next game we had Rams vs. Lions. That was a very entertaining game. I'm not sure how much you saw of that one, but congratulations to the Detroit Lions, first playoff win in 32 years.
Very close game.
Very close game. Wow, came down to the absolute wire, dude. Yeah. And, both quarterbacks, there's a bit of story, right, with Stafford and Goff, the trade.
For each other, yeah.
Exactly. And do you see who got booed when he walked into the stadium, bro? Not Stafford got booed walking into the stadium in Detroit for all the love he's done, for all...
He's done a lot for them.
So much. Sure, they haven't gone past the first round and they lost every game with him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But without him, that team wasn't going to be anything ever. I remember as a kid, in my childhood, he was the man on that team, right?
If you talked about the Lions, it was just because of him, nobody else.
Agreed. And it just sucks. I think this, I get there's the playoffs, it gets heated, when we play sports, we get heated.
Of course, we know that.
Yeah, but... it just went... you just can't do that as fans. You got to pay your respects. But Stafford, honestly, for losing game, he balled out. 367 yards, 2 touchdowns too.
Oh, yeah.
But Goff was a little bit more consistent. 87% completion rate.
It's crazy.
He threw for almost 100 less yards. But but 110 of his passing yards were to St. Brown, who balled out.
Oh,
And honestly, Dan Campbell, this head coach, he's amazing. There's like 2 minutes left in the game, right, where they're trying to run down the clock, and on 1st and 10, they throw a 12-yard pass right to St. Brown so they can just end the game right away. Typically, teams are running it out till the very last down, but they just went right for it, and honestly, loved it. But the biggest struggles for the Rams were definitely in the red zone. That's what I noticed a bit. Sure. You can't go in the red zone in the playoffs 3 times and with all field goals. You have to score,
crazy.
Man.
That's crazy. You got to score there. And it's crazy that they didn't with a quarterback that's, he's good.
Yeah, you got Stafford.
And you got receivers. Puka has been balling out this season.
Respects to Puka for that game, though. He had, 100-something plus yards. He set a rookie reception record that game, actually. Playoff game. He balled out. Kupp was a little bit more quiet from what I'd seen in that game. But again, and they also have the running backs for it too, right? They have one running back, and it's not like the Detroit rushing defense is that great. Exactly. So it's just, at the end of the day, though, I'm going to give credit to the Rams. It was supposed to be a rebuild season based on what the media was saying, kind of how fans were looking at it, how I probably looked at it. Yeah,
they didn't look great, and they made the playoffs, so good to them.
Yeah, they won the last 7. They won 7 of the last 8 games of the regular season to make the playoffs after a terrible start. Yeah.
Crazy push.
No other team's really doing that, right? So, you know what? They did great. If they can add a few weapons, I'd say even defensively, these guys might look actually pretty solid.
Might be in the Super Bowl someday.
You think so? They were there not too long ago,
They
right?
won, right? Yeah. So they got the weapons. They got a good quarterback. They got a future, all-star receiver. He's going to be great in the league. Pro Bowl all the time.
I'd agree.
He's good.
Cooper, and then, Nakua, man. That guy, I don't know. I never heard of him until this year. And, Cooper goes down, he comes up, and the rest is, honestly, it is legitimately history. So, well, look forward to, honestly, for the Rams. But good for Detroit. I'm excited for the next round for them. But a shocking game. Maybe not shocking to you, to me. Philadelphia
for sure.
Tampa. Yeah, blowout. Shocked you?
What'd they start? 10-1?
Yeah, 10-1. Then they lost. Their last 6 games, 1-5 to end the season.
Not looking good. Good. So, is it too early to put Jalen Hurts in the same category as Dak?
I'd say so. Just one season too early because they've won Super Bowl once, I think, right, with that core. I could be wrong with that, but their core is good. They got the weapons, and Eagles fans, they may look to blame injuries, man. I get it. AJ Brown was out. Hurts. I don't know if you saw his finger after week 18. It was all mangled shit.
Well, I mean, blowout to Baker Mayfield.
But he's him, though. In my opinion,
I mean,
that was a performance. Come on, big dog.
Yeah, he did.
337 yards.
People counted him off, too. When he was in Cleveland, saying, get him out of the league, and look at him now.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people were comparing him to Johnny Manziel. Yeah. That kind of time point, which is, honestly, at that point, too, I was like, this guy's, so the next Johnny Manziel, minus, all the screwed up stuff that Johnny was doing. But I thought he had a great game, and honestly, they could have honestly been even better. I think they could have scored more touchdowns because they had so many drops. I know we had some money on Mike Evans' tutty. He sold it for us. For Owen and I. Really ruined a parlay. Chris Godwin was pretty quiet too. They're both, I think, sub 60 yards receiving. So
and they're both very good receivers. Right?
And Baker was hitting them in the hands. There'd be the odd maybe overthrow, whatever. But Baker, 337 yards, 3 tutties. He was super solid. And also, they had the Kate Otten guy, the tight end. He had 89 receiving yards, which was, I've never, again, heard of this guy. I don't know the Bucks. I don't know the Bucks that well, but who? But yeah, I get it. There's the injuries. And
rookie touchdown.
Oh, yes.
That's big play for that guy.
That was that. I can't even tell you who that guy is, but that was an amazing run. But that game, I think the Eagles just didn't want it. I think that maybe I actually thought this was going to be a landslide. Yeah. But you cannot. I don't think you can end the season 1-5 in your last 6.
That's crazy.
And expect to do well in the playoffs. And I in our last podcast, Owen and I talked about it. I'm taking Tampa Bay over Philly just because of the way they ended that season.
Not gonna lie, they sold my parlay.
Really, Philly?
I had them losing like just it was a spread.
Yeah.
And I had them down by like a touchdown.
Really?
And then they go and get blown out. I'm like, that's crazy.
Was it like 9-38 or some crazy shit like that? Something like that. Anyway, it was just it's tough to watch for Eagles fans.
Very.
But honestly, Devontae Smith had a good game though. He had 150 receiving yards on only 8 receptions too. So, but yeah, I think you make a slightly good point of we can maybe start putting Hurts into like a choking comparison with Dak. Because only 250 yards. Only 250 yards as a like Pro Bowl, which I don't think to me means that much.
Yeah.
Quarterback, like you're a top say 5 quarterback in the league. You gotta be better than that.
7 or 9 points in a playoff game. Come on.
1 touchdown.
It's like the Rams when they played Tom.
Yeah, the 13-3 game or whatever.
Only touchdown was the flight.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
It was stupid, but that was really shocking to see. But we'll move into the AFC quickly now. Steelers, Bills. Honestly, I know you're not big on Bills, and I'm not like a big Bills guy either. But I didn't see Steelers coming out anyway.
There was a point like late in the third where they had a little light. Like Pickens made some good catches, and he was having himself a game. And I'm like, if they can just get a stop, and they didn't. And as soon as they were up more than a touchdown, that was over.
Game. I thought it was done at halftime. At halftime, I almost started kind of cluing in and out of the game. It's just without TJ Watt being there, the defensive, threat of having that pass rush, just didn't see it happening. Yeah. And the offense wasn't going to get it done. Like you got Mason Rudolph starting quarterback, no disrespect, but like, sorry man, like that's not going to cut it. But no, you're right. Like there were some moments of light. It's just the defense couldn't capitalize, and it's not like the Bills' offense is the best. It's just they're not going to stop it. And Josh Allen was basic too. 200 yards. 200 yards. But he did throw for 3 touchdowns and no interception.
That's crazy.
Guy's an interception merchant, dude. It's like he wants to create his own stat for it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm really surprised at that. That's probably the biggest surprise of like that weekend for me was
no interception. All our buddies bet on at least 1 interception for Josh Allen, and it's been the freest bet except for last week, man. Yeah. So crazy to see that. Bills Chiefs coming up though this week. That's gonna get interesting. That's
gonna be a good game. I get to go there and watch that one in person. So
looking forward, dude.
That's gonna be Bills territory though. So I might be on like Instagram getting booed and popcorn.
You just got like blended. No, it'll be snowballs, dog. It's only gonna be popcorn. It's gonna be piss missile snowballs coming at you. But speaking of Chiefs, we'll move into Dolphins Chiefs. For me, I had no surprise in Dolphins losing that game. Like, I don't know about you. They've got the offense, but, like, 100%. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. And plus, I'd seen a stat before the game. They were 0 for 11 in, like, sub-10-degree weather games or something like that. Which is
Miami.
Yeah, but no, I'm not judging. Like, I'm saying, like, that makes sense. But as, like, Chiefs are used to that shit,
Chiefs, right? They're a playoff riser. Yeah. They don't disappoint.
Exactly.
They're there every year, and they don't disappoint. And I had some friends I was talking to, and they're like, Tyreek's the best receiver, and Tua's a good quarterback. Yeah. And I disagree with both.
Yeah.
Tua is shit.
I agree with that, but I like Tyreek, though.
Tyreek's good.
Like, top 3, lock.
You saw that play where he got jammed on the line, right?
Yeah, he did.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah. He actually, I think he tweeted about that, dude. He's like, jam my ass to Cancun or some shit. That's actually crazy.
I knew they were gonna get destroyed. Like, there was just no keeping up. Like, come on, Patrick Mahomes to
I'd agree with that, and their defense just simply isn't going to cut it too. I think, and at the same time, they'd only beaten one team above 500.
Yeah,
which is like
nice schedule.
How is the schedule? Like, talk about NFL script writing, dog. Yeah. Like, how they only play one like good team, like, and then of course they make playoffs. But I think that was probably the biggest thing. They weren't able to beat experienced like good teams. Exactly. Sure, you could shit on the Broncos 72 to God knows whatever 20. Yeah. Feel free, do that every year. But like, you guys are out of the playoffs now, so Sucks for Tyreek though, honestly, because I like him. He's an athlete.
He's
like,
good.
He's a dog.
He's good at what he does. It's just I think he's starting to get a little overrated now.
You think so?
Well, when he's on a team that's just they're feeding him the ball.
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
He's just fast.
Yeah.
He is
He's
fast,
quick.
Very fast.
But that's what makes Tua look kind of good, though. All
yeah,
once, right?
Like, throw it up, you'll get it.
Yeah, like he'll be anywhere. Even Patrick Mahomes said it when he had Tyreek on his team, right?
Yeah.
Just throw it down there, Tyreek's down there, somebody will get it, man. So, I don't know. Dolphins got to figure that shit out. But Chiefs, that was a good win. That was a good statement win, I think,
Great
for them.
Win, yeah.
But, honestly, again, statement wins. Houston demolishing Cleveland. I don't know. I love Houston. I love CJ like that.
I can't lie. I mean,
but did you not see that coming?
Come on, who didn't?
Yeah. Okay.
Browns, come on,
my problem was Joe Flacco. He was on a tear in the season. He was on a tear.
He was.
I'd give him my my comeback player of the year award, but at the same time, man is looks older than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady's retired. And it's just. CJ Stroud was simply just him. He just looked so comfortable in that pocket. Myles Garrett was no pressure for Myles Garrett in that game.
Yeah.
And Nico Collins, too. This guy's an animal. The rookie wide receiver, right? 96 yards, 6 receptions, and a tutty.
Very nice game. But CJ or Jalen Hurts?
What the fuck, man? Well, man, you're putting me in bad spots. Playoff talk. I'm going CJ. Guys want to know in the playoffs.
He's proving himself.
But no, Jalen just because of how he's been around for a little bit longer, and I've seen him work a little bit more than CJ.
True.
But I think CJ had less available to do what he just did. So I think he took a team that just had a prime Deshaun Watson who went through all this shit with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
They trade him. They're basically coming last in the league for a couple of years, and then he just takes them to the playoffs and wins in the first round. I'm like Jalen. I think Jalen could do that, but Jalen had already kind of the weapons.
Yeah, he had a great team.
Yeah, he already had the weapons. Our Eagles' defense was already really good.
Yeah.
But I think what Texans have coming is going to be great. I think Houston, I don't know what to think necessarily next for the next round, but I loved what I saw. And the more experience, honestly, CJ gets, the better this guy's gonna get. And that's when I think back to if we're going to get a little bit controversial, CJ could definitely... His ceiling's so high.
Oh, I think you put him on that Eagles team,
yeah,
they might even win that game.
You think so,
They might even win that game.
Well, the way Jalen played, yeah. If CJ played the way he did, yeah, lock.
If they had a, very, very good receiver, another one, I'd be scared to play them, the Texans.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd be scared to play them, and it's embarrassing, right? It's a lose-lose. You beat them, and they're you beat a new quarterback. You lose, and you lost to a new quarterback.
It is, and that's an extra pressure thing too, right? It's you don't want to be that team that loses to those guys. But I think we do owe some credit to the Houston defense. They had 2 back-to-back pick sixes, and this is the Joe Flacco effect. Man, you're old, but I didn't expect that.
You can't do that.
And Houston's defense is not that good. And that's
that.
what I'm worried about for their next round. But yeah, back-to-back pick sixes. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, just Browns defense wasn't able to, kind of generate any momentum, and their Browns offense was also extremely quiet as well, right? Yeah. So, but I'd say honestly, without this Houston defense, I don't know if they could have won this game because back-to-back pick sixes technically is 14 points. Sure, they still would have been up, but that momentum throughout the game,
huge
I'd be so deflated, man. If I threw that second pick six, I'd hang my head.
I might walk off.
I'd say, "Coach, take me out, man. I'm done." But honestly, that was an amazing first week, wild card week of
great
playoffs,
football.
And there were some surprises, and that's what playoff football is all about.
Love it.
That's what we crave, and that's what we got. But you know what? We're going to move into the top 4 teams. And it's I'm getting excited. Houston Ravens.
Blowout.
This guy loves the Ravens.
Blowout.
Talk to me.
Ravens are winning the Super Bowl. I said it here first.
All right.
Clip that.
All right.
They're winning.
We're clipping it. We're good. We're good. And Owen's backing you 2 in the corner. Owen's backing.
They're winning. Come on.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree with the take. I think they will make it to the Super Bowl.
I'm a little scared. I can't lie. I'm a little scared of the Chiefs.
Yeah, okay, and that's fair. That's extremely valid, and and that's, again, if Chiefs do make out, which I think you're thinking too. My only problem with the Ravens is they've had this week off, and like, I know the rest is huge, but it's not like they've been plagued with injuries. Like San Fran, they were having some injuries throughout the season, so this rest I think was good. But Ravens, it's like maybe get out of the momentum. Lamar Jackson has had an MVP season before, and then he went to straight being dog shit in the playoffs. So this is kind of like, I'm excited to watch Lamar play. I think Ravens blow out as well. That's my guess. Houston's defense just can't hold up. I think CJ is going to perform again, just not at as high of a level as he just did. And they're also at home as well too. Yeah. Now they'll be in Baltimore. I think that changes things just a little bit.
And they're used to the cold.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
they're used to the cold.
That's true. And there wasn't much rushing defense that Houston had to play, right? Because Browns were missing like Nick Chubb, right? Ford isn't really going to do you much. Kareem Hunt's not going to do it. And, again, Joe Flacco's shit. The run game might not be as good too. But I'm at least saying the Ravens will win by 7 to 10, if not more points.
Maybe even 20.
So
Lamar's going to run all over them.
I think he's going to have a good run game. Like, specifically run game. But it'll be good. It'll be good to see. Maybe this is a surprise. We could be wrong, but we've both locked in officially Ravens. He's got them in Super Bowl already.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still unsure. I kind of want to watch how this next week goes. But, it'll be crazy.
Once they win by 20, I think you'll be convinced.
Yeah.
At least 20. That's my take.
Yeah, okay.
Ravens
I
by
think
20
so.
This week.
I think that's a good point. If they do win by more than 20, I may be incredibly convinced. But I'm liking what I'm seeing on the other side with San Fran. That's my thing. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we move down to the NFC. But we're going to talk Chiefs-Bills in Buffalo, which you're going to, as you've already mentioned. I think that's going to be great. So I know you've already locked in Chiefs. My only concern is that Patrick Mahomes has yet to play an away game for playoffs. And none other than you're not just an Arrowhead now. You're playing where the Bills are. You got Bills Mafia. You got fans. You got snowballs coming at you. Yeah. Taylor Swift might not be at the game. Like, God forbid.
Yeah, come on.
But I don't. I'm going. I want to say let's go Buffalo and do the whole chant. But for me, I'm picking Chiefs. I just trust their experience and what they've played each other already twice now in previous playoffs.
2-0
and 2-0. And in decisive, sort of decisive games. One of which was incredibly. More of a blowout. One was by 6 or something like that.
In overtime.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Josh Allen's not seeing that ball if it goes to overtime again.
Yeah. Well, that comes down to a coin flip, though, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's tough.
That's crazy. But that's going to be a defensive battle in the end. And honestly, Buffalo's supposed to get a dump of snow. Chiefs are used to the snow a little bit. Buffalo's going to be a little bit more used to it. But that's going to change how the ball's thrown.
With this game, clip this.
Here we go. Another hot take.
Bet it. He's getting a pick.
Josh Allen
has to throw an interception. That's
free. That's free. It's free money.
Come on. If you don't do that, I don't know what to tell you.
I'd agree. Maybe
even 2.
I don't want to push 2 because I want to keep it a close game in my head, mentally, to be excited. But it'll be defensive battle. Chiefs' rush defense is not that good. And it's not Bills' rush defense is essentially the same thing. Pacheco's been really good for the Chiefs. He's actually an animal.
Great.
The way that guy drives his legs, man, it's crazy. But then, Chiefs have a solid pass defense. They're okay. And you're right. It's Josh Allen. This guy's going to throw picks.
Guaranteed.
If they can capitalize on those, I'm saying Chiefs. But if they can't, it's going to come down to a field goal, in my guess.
I want to say it'll be a close game.
Yeah.
I want to say that. But, Josh Allen, it's up to him.
Josh Allen.
Maybe it's a pick 6. Maybe it's 2 pick 6s. I don't know.
This guy's thinking Josh Allen's the next Joe Flacco. This is crazy.
Man.
Gary coming out here once, and he's just going
crazy. If you're a Bills fan, I'm sorry. Josh Allen's just not him.
All right. I like it. I like that. I like it. I'm liking the energy. Okay, Green Bay, we're moving over sides. Green Bay, San Fran. I'm picking San Fran by landslide.
Whoa.
Same thing as kind of how the Ravens-Houston thing can go. And San Fran got the rest, right? And, CMC is going to go crazy. I'm picking.
Oh, for sure.
I would never bet, more than $10 on it, but I'm saying 2 tutties for my boy CMC.
Two.
Ooh. I like it. He's going to be a dog in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that guy needs a ring. He
does.
He needs to get going, and this is it. And honestly, a big reason why Green Bay won against Cowboys was Aaron Jones. He had the 3 touchdowns, 118 yards. I can't see him doing it again, especially with San Francisco's defense. You got Chase Young, Nick Bosa as your 2 pass rushers. Their secondary is solid too. I'm sorry, Jordan Love, bro.
Creamed that one.
I think so too. I don't even think San Fran's winning by at least 10 or more 2 scores. 2 scores or more. That's kind of that's my bet. But with that all said and done, because I know that's a pretty quick take. Tampa, Detroit Lions. This could be a very close game.
That would be a good game.
And I was thinking I would rather almost go to this game than the Kansas City Buffalo one.
Really?
Just because it's Detroit and their playoff run kind of this is it's not wouldn't be necessary,
right?
Yeah, it'd be historical. I'd say almost a Cinderella story.
Yeah, if they win 2, that's crazy.
I'd go crazy, but I'm gonna meet ride Baker Mayfield. He's him. I'm picking Tampa Bay.
Him.
I think a lot of people riding Detroit, but I'm picking Tampa Bay. It'll be a close game though.
The big ball Selly, if he does something crazy, he'll pull it out.
I'll pull it out. I'll go crazy for him, but I'm gonna take Bucks. I just think their defense is going to do better than Detroit's defense. And honestly, Mayfield, if he slings it the way he did this previous game, if not even better, that's going to beat Jared Goff's. And Bucks have a
receiving core. It's good.
That's what I'm saying. They've got more options, and Baker can work them all. He can work the tight end, the 2-star wide receivers. I feel like really for Jared Goff, he's got Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and to me that's it.
That's really it. Yeah.
But I could be wrong with that. That game could go literally either way. But other than that, this next weekend of football is going to be phenomenal.
Be great.
And fans everywhere should be incredibly excited for it.
Can't wait to be at the game with the Bills players crying.
And you're going to be shivering, too. It's going to be a cold, snowy game.
It's going to be a cold day.
But that'll be fun. You'll enjoy. We'll enjoy. We'll watch you from TV.
Yeah,
we're all going to look for Gary.
TV there. Yeah, look for me.
We'll look for him. But honestly, with our picks in, that's really just it for this episode. We want to keep it short and sweet. Playoffs are super exciting for both Gary and I. I'll post some stuff on social media too with some more kind of predictions and stuff like that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Second episode of First Down Focus. We'll see you guys next week.
Catch you later.